Hello, I'm here in the shed. It's a little bit windy outside and I think we might be in for some showers, but I want to get a little bit done in the garden because I'm feeling so much better and I just want to start cracking on. But I'm going to be careful and not do too much. So I've got a couple of things I want to talk about, then we'll get outside. I want to get my daffodil bulbs in. So first of all, a massive thank you to everybody's input, all of your suggestions, but I'm going to get them into the flower bed because I think that's going to be the easiest. It did have a big percentage of votes. There were some other lovely suggestions as well, but that is where they're going to go. I just want to get them in. There's a little patch still that needs weeding, so I'm going to have a little go at that and see how I feel, but the most important job will be to get those bulbs in. The weeding can always wait, but I'll give it a go. I just don't want to overdo it. The other thing I've got now are, I didn't do any potatoes last year, and I'll be honest with you, I did miss growing my own potatoes. We did still have a few stored, but they've all gone now. So I'm going to just do these, are first early, they're Colleen, I've got 10 of them, and I'll pop those in at about March time. Some people chip their potatoes, I don't generally, but I've got those and they're ready to go. And then next, I just want to say a massive thank you. So Robin, thank you so much. Robin Miller has sent me this fabulous packet of seeds. You're so generous. I know that there's been lots of these little packets arriving across the UK, and also, you know, in various other places. I know I saw Jim's latest video as well, and he was thrilled to bits. And you know, you've really made so many people happy, so thank you so much. And we'll just have a little look because I'm so excited. Some of these seeds, oh my goodness, and also the fact, Robin, that you know, you remembered that my Chris doesn't like tomatoes but that I do, and to have a go at some Brad's Atomic. Oh, I'm so excited, so this lovely packet with this gorgeous homemade card, just beautiful. It's got the most lovely pictures, and Robin, you know, you really know your stuff, and some lovely kind words in there as well, and a little bit about what I've got, so thank you so much. So I'm going to pop those back in their packet and put them safely away, but really excited to get those sorted and work out which ones I will be growing when and where. So without further ado, let's get outside because it is a little bit breezy and I think there's some clouds coming over. We may be in for some showers, but let's get what we can done. Oh my goodness, just after I finished talking to you, the wind picked up and it was absolutely blowing a hoolie. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to abandon the idea of weeding and just get these bulbs in. And the time it took me to get my gloves, put the bulbs into a trug and grab my dibber, and it's dropped again. But I'm going to push on. I've got a suspicion that these gusts are going to keep coming. So let's get these daffodil bulbs in. So they're in, hurrah, at last those daffodil bulbs are in the ground. I didn't count them, it said there was 40 in the pack, but I've popped them in little groups of sort of 3 or 5 right across this bed. There are still some areas that need weeding, but I'll get that done another day. The bulk of it was done before I went off poorly, and I'll get the rest done when I can. So let's have a little walk around the plot, and I'll talk about some of my plans. So the onions in this bed are doing really well. I will just pop the hoe over that at some point because there's just a few weeds coming through, but just knocking them off with the hoe should be fine. In this bed behind me, I've still got some Brussels sprouts, and there's some that are going to be worth harvesting, so I'll get those in. I'll probably pop them in the freezer, we'll eat a few fresh, and then I'll get these plants down. The purple sprouting broccoli is finished, and it took a real hit when we had those super cold temperatures. And then in the other side of that bed, I've got some of my red onions, and again I just need to knock some weeds down with the hoe in between those onions, but they're up and they're looking good. This bed I have layered up pre the really cold temperatures, so I put some leaf mulch down, so just raked up the leaves and spread them out over this bed, and then a layer of cardboard, and then I have popped some compost over the top, but it could do with a little bit more, but that's as much as I had and I wanted to get it on. I will be getting some more compost and combining that with some of my own compost from the compost heap and some well-rotted horse manure. And then this bed, some of it's been partially mulched. I've still got some beetroot going on and some leeks, some small leeks. The beetroot are really coming to an end now, so I will be getting, we've been pulling a couple up and eating them regularly, almost on a daily basis. Some of the tops have gone a little bit soft after the really cold weather, but there's still some salvageable beets in there, so those will come up. There's just a few, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 of the bolt hardy, but there is still a good row and a 3/4 row and a half row of the chioggia, and I don't want to waste them, so I'll get what I can up. I'll probably chop them out here and get the best of them off, and just throw the bits I can't use straight into the compost heap, take the rest over, give it a good wash, chop and freeze. And I've mulched some of this area with some used chicken bedding. There was some leaves, then some cardboard, and then some used chicken bedding. I will give everything a good top up, and I'll probably spread a bit more chicken bedding over this once the beets come up. The chives are just starting to poke through, so I need to clear the dead chives away and make a space then for the new growth to come through. Raspberry canes, wouldn't expect them to be doing anything at the moment, and they're not. The strawberry bed really needs a good sort out, and that is on my list of things to do, but I'm going to sit tight until I know we're through the cold snaps, because there's a high chance we may get more snow or some more hard frosts. But I've got my little runner seedlings that I've made, and I'll be having a bit of a poke around in there. But I have some exciting news. So 2 of the things that I really wanted to do on this plot, because I've got all this space behind me now, I don't want to go too big, so at the moment I've got, is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I don't know where I got 7 from. Oh, I've got the little rhubarb bed, but I've got 6 reasonable sized beds out here. I've created them all in the same way, in the no dig method. I've got the little rhubarb bed, and then obviously I've got my beds in the polytunnel, and I never wanted to go too big. The area which is kind of behind you and to your left, to my right, next to the shed, you will have seen previously, that's where I started the wildflower meadow, and I do plan to add to that this year. And Ali, thank you so much for my little Christmas card, and in it were some more wildflower seeds, so they will be going into the wildflower meadow along with a few other bits and pieces. But 2 things I've always wanted to have here on the plot. One is a greenhouse, because I really miss the greenhouse I used to have at my old cottage. So back in my old cottage we grew a little bit in the garden. I had an allotment plot, but we had a lovely greenhouse actually at the property when we moved there. I gave the allotment up because I'd had that when I was in a little cottage where I lived on my own, and it was perfect for me. I could walk to it if necessary, I could drive when I wanted to. I was able to take my little dog that I had at the time. I had a lovely collie, and yeah, good times were had. But then I met Chris and we moved, and it was still within the same area, but it was just a little bit too far to travel. And because the garden was so big and we had the greenhouse, I started growing my vegetables at home. And then, of course, our opportunity to come to our dream home here on our little farm came up, and here we are. And I've created this plot from nothing. So this was a sheep paddock, and we started by putting up the polytunnel, and then I have gradually added in the beds. So I don't want to go too big, but I have acquired from my lovely farrier, who you may have seen in previous videos shoeing my horses. He's actually given me a second-hand greenhouse, and it's a really nice one. It's currently dismantled and it's actually in the horse trailer at the moment, but we need to get on and decide where that's going to go. I also really want to get a proper fruit cage up. Chris did me a lovely job here with this kind of temporary thing, but it's not going to last forever. The netting is off at the moment, there's just a bit of chicken wire on it, and I did net the strawberry bed, but I've got plans to grow. I'd like to grow more berries and soft fruits, so I'd really like to get a fruit cage up, probably in this area, and then it's just a case of deciding where the greenhouse is going to go. And then let's go back in the shed, and I'll tell you the rest of my plans, but I just wanted you to have a little look. So back in where it's not so windy and it's a little bit warmer. So I'm not going to drone on and bore you silly, but really excited about getting that greenhouse up. So we will need to plan where we're going to put it and put a base down. We'll probably put a base down similar to the one here with the shed, which we started by digging out, and then we had sand and hardcore, some more sand, and then we slabbed it. And I'll see if I can acquire some slabs, or certainly get some cheap on Marketplace, or look on Free Cycle, and then we can get the greenhouse up. So that's really exciting. Now, I've always wanted to grow asparagus, and I'm kicking myself because I've got the space, and what had put me off, of course, is it's such a long time before you can get your harvests. And I know a lot of people start them with crowns, but actually I have bought myself some asparagus seeds, and in that space that kind of isn't used, I know it needs to be left alone. It can get very tall, and it's a while before you can harvest. So that space is just not being used. So very quickly, good old no dig, I can lay down some cardboard, I can cover it over with some compost or some well rotted horse manure, let that settle, and then if I start these off in the polytunnel, so I think, yeah, kind of March time, and then it's 3 years before I will be harvesting. But the irony and the stupidity is, if I just started them, I'd be harvesting by now, wouldn't I? And I love asparagus, and so does Chris. So we're going to start an asparagus bed, so that is super exciting. I wanted to mention, while we were near the seeds, I have some kalettes. So Will, the Flying Gardener, I will be taking part in your grow along, so check out Will's channel if you haven't already seen it. I will pop a link in the description to any of the channels and the people that I've mentioned. So Will, go over to his channel, join in with his kalette grow along. He has the most immaculate plot. Will, I want to see the messy bits because honestly, it's beautiful. It's like something out of a glossy magazine. It is such an inspirational place, and he is really pushing on at the moment. And yeah, go across and have a look, because, as I say, it'll blow your mind. And then Danny from the Grape Mine, you're mining for grapes now, Danny. The Grapevine Garden is talking about doing a Swede or Rudbeckia challenge. We all took part in the watermelon challenge, those across the pond and those of us here in cooler climates. And I was really chuffed that I managed to grow my watermelons, and I'll definitely be growing some again, challenge or no challenge. It was just such fun, and they were really tasty, and I want to perfect them. But I think here in the UK we might be in with a chance with our Rudbeckia or Swede. So great excitement, lots of things happening. You can almost smell the spring is in the air, can't you? It's coming, it really is coming. So as ever, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and there'll be a video coming up on the screen right now that I think you'll enjoy. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon.